Hey everybody, Frank here. Welcome back to another episode of Project PDA. Today I have a snow and shear powered weather detector to show you. And before we get on the details and how it works, I'm just going to show it in action. So, we can see on the map here that we have two displays, one for snow and one for shears. And we can see they're both empty. And the machine actually needs that to run. So, to get started, we're going to put in some shears. Right here's where they go. We'll put 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And as those funnel into the system, we'll see the counter for shears go up. So there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Next, we'll put in snow. This machine can hold 160 blocks of snow at a time, and the display goes up in increments of 5%. So every time we put in 8 blocks of snow, it'll go up by 5%. So go up, there we go, 5%. If we do another 8, now that we have a good amount of snow and shears loaded into the system, all we have to do is wait for it to rain. Or we could just do /weather rain. Now, as soon as it starts detecting rain, that sun there is going to go and hide behind the cloud. We're going to see drops of rain start to come out. And this checks for rain once every minute, so there's a little margin of error there. But for the most part, as long as it's displaying rain on the map, that means it's raining, right? And it can also detect thunder. So if we change it from a rainstorm to a thunderstorm, as soon as lightning strikes, it'll display a little lightning symbol. Now, it isn't entirely accurate with the thunder because it uses a lightning rod. And if that lightning rod just doesn't get struck, then it doesn't display it, but there we go. The lightning rod has a radius of 128 blocks, so for the most part it's going to be pretty accurate. And now right there is the machine checking again for rain. So a minute has passed since the rainfall started, and it's still raining, so nothing's going to change. But if we go ahead and clear the weather, and we'll do that a little bit here, you'll see the sun come back out and the rain go away. So, weather, clear, and of course it will take a second to update. That's just because, it only checks every minute. So as long as, there's that margin of error, it might not be entirely accurate. But we'll just, if we wait for a second, and it shouldn't take too long, hopefully. Any second now. Any second now. Yep, there it goes. Right there, the sun's going to come back out, lightning's going to go back into the cloud, and the rain's going to start to disappear. And that there is the snow and shear powered weather detector. So let's get into how it all works. So, we'll start off with the snow and shear counters here. So, right here, we have a smart piston that every time you put in a piece of snow, it's going to send up a piece of snow. It's going to go all the way up this long chain. It's 80 blocks tall, and one layer can hold 2 blocks of snow, so that's how you get 160. But as well as sending a pulse all the way up here to send the snow block up, it sends a pulse to this little chain here. This chain is 8 blocks long, and every time you get one block in here, this is going to move up one. So this is like the ones place, and that's like the tens place, right? Um, so each of these would be uh, for one block in this machine. So every time it goes through 8 times, it's going to go up by 5%. And it's a bit of a mess here, but if we follow the redstone, so this is where the pulse comes from, it sends it down this way, and then every time the green block goes right here, this pulse is going to carry through and go on the plus 5% side. And this is just like the clock. It's a bunch of piston chains with inputs for each of these little lines, and it'll either go up one way or down one way. It's double piston tapes, um, but same idea as the clock. It'll just change each of these piston tapes lines up with one of these lines, and they all get a pulse in one direction or the other depending on whether it's going up or down. And then if you go all the way up here to the very top of the machine, this is how it actually detects the rain. We have a snow golem right here. And snow golems die when they get wet, right? So when they die, they're going to go off that pressure plate and send a pulse down there, and we'll get into that in a second. But we'll keep going with the snow. So this machine up here, it automatically constructs a snow golem. So this is where the snow ends up. It goes all the way up here to the top, fills up these first 2 blocks, and then when it receives a pulse to build one, this double extender pushes it out. Right here, this dispenser puts a pumpkin on it to turn into a snow golem. This dispenser uses the shears to shear that pumpkin so that we can recycle it. It goes in through these hoppers and up through here and back in there. And then they fall down here and land on that pressure plate. And it uses this observer chain to send a pulse all the way down back to the very bottom here. And this does the opposite of what the first smart piston does. So it sends 2 pulses for 2 blocks, uses for the snow golem, and it sends it counterclockwise. And instead of activating this line when the green block gets here, it activates this line, and it goes down by 5%. Um, Also, there's a little switch here that changes uh, whether it's changing the tens place or the ones place. Forgot to show you this one. So right here we can see it is currently in the tens place. That's why the target is under the 0, and it's the opposite over here. It's 0, 5 instead of 5, 0. When this machine goes off, these pistons are going to invert, right? So the 5 is going to go up, and um, and the 0 is going to go to the 5 here, right? And this is so that it can know if it's going up to, if it needs to change the tens place or not. So when you're subtracting 5, right, and it's in, it's a whole 10, right? So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. That means you have to change um, you have to change it because it's going down, right? So this would have to change to 0. And but if it's 15, right, the tens place doesn't have to change at all. And same thing, it's the opposite for adding, right? So if it's currently, a whole 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and you add 5, the tens place doesn't have to change. If there's already 5 in there and you add 5 more, then the tens place does have to change. So that's what these two are for. It's always going to go up by 5%, so the ones place toggles every single time. So this 5 is either always a 5 or a 0, and that just switches every time. And then at the very back we have the 100, and this one's just a single tape that goes when it's all the way around, then it triggers and it's 100, and then for the rest of the time it's just blank. Alrighty. Now, the heart of the machine is really the snow golem. And oh wait, I forgot to show this one's really simple. It's really straightforward. The water elevator brings the shears into this dispenser right here. So there's 5. There's a comparator going from it. So every time one more shear goes in, it goes one more. You have this big tower of displays, and they're just hooked up based on distance. So the 1 goes here, 2, 3. Oh no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the 0 at the bottom, the 9 at the top. And just whenever you put shears in there or take shears out, it'll go up. So you can see on the map it changes to 4, goes up to 5, and it's real simple. Anyway, back to the snow golem. So when it is not raining, there's going to be a snow golem alive on this pressure plate that will turn off this redstone. When the snow golem dies when it rains, so we'll go ahead and do /weather rain. This poor guy is going to go ahead and die. That redstone torch is going to turn on. It's going to start this 1-minute timer. It's also going to send a pulse down through here. This pulse is going to move this target block back, and it'll turn this line on and off again, which will toggle it. You have these long chains of concrete, which I use as the displays. So it sends a pulse to these 2 hopper clocks. Oh, that might have been important. It was important. Oops. Okay, so these 2 hopper clocks, which will pulse 6 times for this one and 11 times for this one, because this is 11 blocks long and this is 6 blocks long, and it'll just switch out the top layer and the bottom layer. So that's how you get the sun and the rain. And this timer, when it finishes, it triggers a little delay with this timer here that keeps this block on for an extra 6 seconds. That way, the snow golem, it's going to fall down and land on this pressure plate again, and it needs to activate it again so it can start the timer again. But you don't want it to activate the rain and sun again, because then it'll toggle and it'll get sun out while it's raining, which you don't want. So this keeps the signal going for an extra 6 seconds, and if the snow golem lives that long, then that means it's no longer raining and it will toggle off. Now it also goes up here. This is how it detects for lightning. So if we go ahead and change it to weather thunder, and we'll go ahead and just strike it with /summon. So right here, this sends a signal to this. Same idea. This is a chain that goes another 6 times, and it will send this whole chain. The class is really nice because it doesn't show up on the map, so you can use it to move blocks on and off on the map without having little ugly lines in the way. And so this will keep the lightning bolt up as long as it's raining. Once it stops raining, this whole thing over here, when the line turns off and the snow golem stays alive, it will trigger this, which just does the same thing and brings the lightning bolt back. So if we go over here, let's see, and go ahead and /weather clear, you can see it has 75 pieces of redstone in there for the 1 minute. So as soon as this empties out here, we'll see right here that this machine is going to build another snow golem. There he goes. He gets pushed by the slime and gone to the pressure plate. Then it's going to shut the whole thing off. It's going to receive 1 more pulse to toggle it on. It's going to receive a pulse to push the lightning back. Go back into the spot right there. The rain's going to go away, and the sun's going to come back out. And there you go. It's a weather detector powered by snow and shears. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.